Hello, people of the world, and welcome to Outrageous, the show which takes stories which have provoked a conversation in our social climate. We dissect them and reveal the real issues behind them. But first, we start with a simple overview of our social climate. Smartphones and Web 2.0 were made so that sharing content is easy. Out of this breakthrough came the social medias like Facebook and Twitter, which meant that we're better connected. Most of the time, we're just sharing cat videos, that cute selfie that everybody else will see, or Snapchatting how busy we are. Apart from the constant compliment fishing we usually use social media for, other times it's a tool for presenting and addressing real social issues. These days, when a story breaks, social media is the place to go and find out how people are really feeling about these issues. And these days, we all know how people feel about everything, no matter how big or small. You can share your feelings about these upcoming topics on the Outrageous app and website, or by hashtagging Outrageous on Twitter. It feels like we're constantly being flooded with reasons to go mad, and most of the time, the cause of outrage is understandable. Like when that lady threw that cat in the bin, or when Donald Trump won't tell us how he keeps that wig so laid. Apart from these few examples, sometimes people are manufacturing causes of outrage. Like, for example, recently, writer Victoria Prince released a video on the BBC website outlining digital blackface.
Ever shared this? Or this? Nothing like a good reaction gif, right? But you've probably noticed the most popular ones are of black people being dramatic. This is digital blackface.
As you saw there, she believes that white people use reaction gifs and emojis to look more sassy, street, and sexier so that they can perform their exaggerated form of blackness, another form of cultural appropriation, that she says. To that, I say this. Of course, white people culture appropriate sometimes, but this is a poor example of cultural appropriation or digital blackface. Sorry, girl, but I think you missed your mark here. First of all, black people don't care if white people are sharing black memes, and to be frank, they usually are the funniest. If they prefer to use a black fist bump emoji in their replies, let them. Most of us don't care. It's only an issue if we read too far deep into it. I don't want our society to turn into a super sensitive place where everything and anything can be offensive. The reality is, you're probably going to be offended many times in your lifetime. This story is only ammunition for the real racists who wish to discredit and diminish our experiences and struggle. If this is considered a real issue, what else would be considered off limits? White people, you're no longer allowed to listen to hip-hop around me. I am tired of watching you struggle through the hip-hop song while carefully jumping over the N-word so you don't offend me. Stop wearing J's. They're not made for you. You don't have the style or the swag to pull it off. I mean, come on. You're no longer allowed to perform the new cool dances. You're trying to hit the nay-nay. What you doing? No. It's not cool. This has been Charles, and I approve this message. In previous events of overreaching for an issue, in 2014, Dr. Matt Taylor was on the receiving end of a sexism witch hunt. Dr. Matt Taylor is a scientist who was part of the European Space Agency's successful landing of a space probe on a moving comet. He was being interviewed for his achievements, but unfortunately, his shirt grabbed more headline because he depicted images of sexually suggestive women. Some feminists accused him of being part of the reason why there aren't enough women in STEM fields. Vox writer Susanna Smith said that this is the exact kind of casual sexism that drives women away from STEM. And Guardian writer Alice Bell said that the ESA can land a space probe on a moving comet, but yet they still can't see the misogyny under their nose. Don't get me wrong, I know that misogyny and sexism still exist in the workplace, but I refuse to believe that a shirt depicting sexually suggestive women can deter women away from their chosen field of interest. If that was the case, the modeling industry would be a deserted place. Eventually, the online hate was too much for Dr. Matt Taylor, and he apologized in this video.
The shirt I wore this week, I made a big mistake and I've offended many people, and I'm very sorry about this.
You mean, ladies, you made that poor man cry? Is this shit sexist? Maybe. Inappropriate? Most likely. But sexist? Well, that depends on how you see it. But I don't think so. This kind of nitpicking waters down the real misogyny and sexism and perpetuates the stigma that women are always complaining about over everything. And I know women are tired of hearing that. This leads me to another point of interest. Do you guys remember the 10-hour in NYC catcalling video? Well, if you don't, watch this.
How you doing today? Smile. That's not good.
Smile.
How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you for being beautiful. She said thank you. How are you this morning?
Have a nice evening.
This video highlights the unwanted, unprovoked attention that women get in public. It shows the different types of men commenting on the walking woman. The whole point of this video was to call out the unwanted attention that women receive. This video was covered in the news so that they can expose these harassing men, but some examples in this video weren't so bad. Even some news anchors couldn't agree on this video.
Some of that stuff was inappropriate, but for the most part, they're just saying, smile, you look good.
I hope they're not saying that, Gail.
No, but I mean, but there is a difference between someone that goes over the line and somebody that just says, you look great.
Yeah, but that's different when someone says, hey, you look fabulous. It's different when a guy is catcalling, Gail, and saying, like, hey, baby. That's like, that feels threatening.
Hey.
But that feels threatening. That feels threatening.
I don't know, I guess it just depends.
Some institutions like BuzzFeed furthered this topic by releasing more stories of women getting catcalled. For instance, Noah Jansma, a 20-year-old design student in Eindhoven, Netherlands, took pictures of her catcallers for a month, as seen here. She said, I thought that the men would be suspicious of me, that they would understand my motive. She said that most of them had their thumbs up, like they were happy, like they honestly thought that they were complimenting me. She also added that they never realized that I was unhappy. To be honest, I actually find it hard to see her unpleasantness when you're taking pictures, selfies of the men who are harassing you. It's not so clear that you're uncomfortable. Just like you said, they honestly thought that they were complimenting you. I'm not saying that as a woman you're obligated to acknowledge and accept all compliments coming your way. And to be honest, the men should have probably got their hint and hit the road. What I'm saying is that sometimes the style of approaching women isn't always so evil, especially if done correctly.
Maybe like 2 weeks ago, this gentleman walked up to me. He was very polite, but he was really nice. And the way he approached me was very polite. And I kindly said no, but I respected the fact that he was so nice, and I was very nice in my, the way I turned him down. But if he would have been like, hey, ma, what? I'm not an animal. No way. Don't come at me with that.
We have to question the motives of these news companies because they can influence the style of thinking through the news they cover. Some institutions, reliable institutions, are built upon reliable journalisms, but some institutions are built on a juicy story. Let's be real. A catchy headline gets our attention more than the truth. For instance, sometimes when you read the news, you would think that this country is getting overrun by foreigners. And when work restrictions to Romanians and Bulgarian workers in the UK were lifted in 2013, the Daily Mail published an article warning the British public of sold-out buses full of Romanians and Bulgarians heading to the UK shore. They claimed that flights heading to the UK were sold out, and some seats were going for like £3,000. To top it all off, they claimed that Romanians and Bulgarians were handing out passports to Moldovans and Macedonians. I imagine this is what they thought was happening.
Throw it up, watch it all fall out. Blow it up, that's how we ball out. Oh, all I see is signs, all I see is dollar signs. Oh, money on my mind, money on my mind. Throw it up, watch it fall from the sky. Throw it up, watch it all fall out.
This was fake news. Eventually, the Daily Mail came out with an update to their story, where they acknowledged that many readers were able to find flights from Bucharest and Sofia starting from £122. The whole passport thing was more of a scaremongering tactic just to spice up the story. As if Eastern Europeans aren't already seen in a bad light. But to play on people's prejudices just to sell a story is really low. But it's exactly what you would expect from the Daily Mail. And besides, why wouldn't you want immigrants to come to our shores? They bring culture, food, and they do all the little essential jobs that we don't want to do. And don't forget, they create new ones too. They just want to support their families just like we do. What do you think their motives are when they arrive?
I came here to steal jobs and drink milk, and I'm all out of milk.
The news feeds off our fears and uses them to create a clickbaity piece of news. This in turn makes the public more suspicious of the other or the accused. One group who feels this effect more than anybody is the Muslim society in this country, especially with all the constant terrorism news flying about. We already have security on high alert, and the constant discriminating news coming out feeds into the stigma that Muslims are so dangerous, leading to situations like this. This Muslim woman was forced to take off her bikini by armed police last year in September, as seen as this humiliating picture. Not only was she embarrassed, she must have been scared for her life, with all those guns around her. We don't want the police completely on edge, and hopefully we don't have more situations like this.
Excuse me, miss.
Can I help you?
Yes, it's a random stop in church.
What do you mean this is a random stop?
Can I please look in your bag?
What? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, on your way.
And to close it all off, I want you all to think about the news we are getting. These stories really only benefit the news institutions and the social media platforms on which they are shared upon. Our legitimate complaints no longer scratch the surface because feelings get more share than facts. The news companies know that angry people click more, and the way our web spaces are set up, we usually only receive information supporting our own political biases. And whenever an opposing opinion is presented, it feels as if it's a shock in our system, but this shock is merely just a spark to our interest. Social media was created to bring us together and make the world smaller, globalization. But these days it feels like it's just doing the opposite. Don't forget to check out the Outrageous website and app, and send us your thoughts via #outrageous on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and stay outraged.